Good morning, Felix here, Association of Zoos and Aquariums, Reintroduction Department. How can I help you?
Felix, it's me, Charlie, over at the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. How are you?
I'm great. Wow, it's been a while. Haven't talked to you since we worked together on the California Condor project.
Has it really been that long? That was a great one of my favorites. I remember thinking that plan was kind of crazy, trying to capture all of the last condors out in the wild.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that the Fish and Wildlife Service went along with that plan.
Well, it worked, right? Last I heard, there were 226 out in the wild and more than 400 altogether. In fact, they're starting a fifth reintroduction site in Baja, California.
It's a good thing it worked, because there was a lot of money. I mean, more than $35 million so far. It's always exciting when these things work. It's very inspiring for people who care about endangered species.
Actually, that's why I called. I have a great new idea. Do you have a few minutes?
Sure. I was supposed to talk to Pearl from the Franklin Park Zoo in Boston at 11:30 about the amazing work she's doing with the red-crowned crane.
Oh yes, I've heard about that. Isn't that the one where she actually takes the eggs and flies them over to Russia on a plane to put them in the nest?
Oh, yep, that's the one. Isn't that so cool? Anyway, what's your new idea?
Well, I have this idea about saving the Amur leopard.
The Amur leopard? Wow, that's the most endangered mammal in the world right now. There are only about 26 left in the wild and 176 in captivity?
That's exactly why I want to work on this, before it's too late.
Well, okay. I love Amur leopards too. I guess we have to start with the guidelines for reintroduction of animals born or held in captivity, which was adopted by our board of directors in 1992. Do you have a copy?
Yes. Let's see. Got it in front of me.
Okay. I guess the first question is whether the captive population is stable enough to support this kind of project. Our guidelines say that reintroduction should not begin until the captive population has sufficient numbers and genetic diversity to be secure, even if all of the reintroduced animals die. What do you think?
Well, there are 126 in captivity, but some of them are pretty closely related genetically.
And we've had some problems breeding the captive population too. Up in Boston, a nice healthy male killed the female he was supposed to breed with. We can't really afford to try another female with him after that happened.
I see.
Another problem might be the situation for the pack that's left in the wild. Now, our guidelines say that if the problem that led to their being endangered still exists, we can't release them into the wild. For example, if they're dying off because of a chemical and that chemical is still being used, then we can't put them back into the habitat until people stop using the chemical. So for the Amur leopard, we couldn't release them into the wild until we're sure that they aren't being hunted or poached. And I'm not sure there's a real commitment to preserving their habitat over there either yet.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty big problem. And I guess it would be pretty expensive too. Let me try to call my friend Carmen over at the World Wildlife Fund to see if they'd be willing to help pay. If we could figure out these other issues. I'll get her on the conference call.
Good morning. Carmen at the World Wildlife Fund for Nature. Halting and reversing the destruction of our environment is our mission. How can I help you?
Hi Carmen, it's Charlie over at the IUCN.
Hey Charlie, how are things in Switzerland?
Pretty good. Wait, aren't you in Switzerland too?
Usually, but right now I'm working on the Golden Lion Tamarin project in Rio de Janeiro.
Wow, that sounds really exciting.
Yeah, it is. We're in the middle of relocating 6 groups that were cut off from each other to a reserve area where they can mix. This will really help with genetic diversity. We think all 6 groups would have died out on their own.
That's amazing. That sounds so cool. I wish I could be there to help. But anyway, I was calling to ask about funding for a new project on reintroduction of the Amur leopard.
Oh, I love Amur leopards. The problem is, they're not one of the 36 species we're working on right now. We do have an anti-poaching program, but it doesn't involve the Amur leopard.
But there are only 26 left in the wild. We have to do something, right?
Well, Charlie, the truth is that the Amur leopard is a subspecies. It's not really distinct from other leopards. It's just that the leopard population got cut off geographically and adapted to its new location. Unfortunately for us, It's not as important to save a subspecies when the main isn't endangered. I know it's hard, but we have to make hard choices sometimes. Right now, we're putting our money into projects that we think can be successful for animals like the golden lion tamarin that are genetically unique.
Well, I guess that makes sense. It's kind of sad to think that the Amur leopard being gone. But, like you said, we have to make hard choices.
Thanks for checking in. Sorry I can't help this time, but let's stay in touch.
Sounds good. Take care, Carmen.
Oh, that's a bummer. I hate to see even a subspecies heading towards extinction. Hopefully we can stabilize the captive population and try this again in the future. Hey, while I have you on the phone, Charlie, let me run an idea by you.
Sounds good. Go ahead.
Well, I'm worried about amphibians.
Oh yeah, me too. I just heard that of the 6,000 known amphibian species, more than a third are endangered.
Yes, between habitat loss and the critid fungus epidemic, these guys are in big trouble. And I'm worried because not only are amphibians beautiful and amazing, but scientists think that some of the chemicals they secrete could be the only way to cure human diseases like cancer.
It's a big problem. On the IUCN Red List right now, we've got 486 amphibian species listed as endangered. I mean, the problem is that there are so many factors. The script's all messed up here.
Should we pause it?
Yeah.